Boom, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is, of course, your boy, Nolan Hawkeye. Anthony here. And I hope you guys are having a fantastic week wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Well, let's just dive right into it. Since the Iowa Hawkeyes lost to Kentucky in the Citrus Bowl, and Spencer Petras threw 3 INTs. Not good. Not good. There has been some pushback against Spencer Petras, which there has been all season. And a video came out from Hawk Central, which I showed in my previous video, where he basically said, and I'll show it again, where he basically says, that his mom sees all this. So I will show that one. And then let's just keep fast forwarding here. The Daily Iowan comes out, and here's the article right here, with an op-ed, which, let's be honest, most journalism these days are op-ed, saying Spencer Petras isn't, this is literally what it says. By the way, okay, I thought about not doing this video, not creating this content, because if I had to guess, it's, after I'm done making this, I won't be able to work for the Daily Iowan again. They will completely, disregard any opportunity I would have to work for them, even though I'm very talented. I think I could help you guys out a lot. But after this, it will be over. But I realized, above all else, my doing this is about creating awesome content. It's about putting together awesome content for you, the Iowa Hawkeye fan and sports fan out there. So I decided to make this anyways. So, by the way, if you're not subscribed, smash that subscribe button, because subscribing makes you feel good. And at the very least, like, comment, share. I try and comment to every comment. And, this kind of goes towards me too, because I receive, I would say 95% of the comments that I receive, if not 98%, are very, very positive, respectful, and supportive. There's about 2% that are combative. Okay. And I will admit that the initial response is, when somebody is combative towards you, is to be like, yo, screw you, dude, and all that stuff. But I remember when I decided to do this, I cognitively told myself, if you're going to get all the positive things, just like when you played sports back in the day, if you're going to get all the positive things, then you have to be willing to go through the negative things. And some of that is negative comments. It just is what it is. There's no way around it. And plus, I am a huge free speech advocate. I would never censor anybody's speech, especially if I disagree with it. So it comes with the territory. So while I don't fully understand what Spencer Petras is going through, I do understand a little bit. Okay. In the 247hawkeye.com Facebook group, by the way, go to 247hawkeye.com and follow me on Twitter at 247hawkeye. One of the admins posted the opinion piece: Spencer Petras isn't Iowa's answer at quarterback, but he deserves better from fans. Critiquing is one thing. Being demeaning is another. If you fall into the second category, shame on you. And you've got more to worry about than the performance of a college football player's performance. I'm going to go hard in on this. I really am. And you guys have heard me talk about this before. There's a few angles to this, okay? Number one, these days, the media loves telling us whatever sphere it is in, they love telling us what is morally correct and what is not. And the bottom line is, that's not your job. You're the media. Who gave you the right to tell us what is okay and what is not okay? That's just silly. I mean, the media is probably one of the most corrupt organizations in the history of the world. Definitely America. And you are going to tell us what is morally acceptable? I don't think so. And the Iowa media does it quite a bit. Too much for my taste. Too much for my taste. They are always finger wagging at us, the Iowa fans. And that is so annoying. Okay. The second angle, and we're going to read this article because I haven't read it yet. I have not read it yet. The second angle to this is, and I keep telling you guys this, the Iowa media, they are not true Iowa fans like you and I are. They're just not. Okay. They will always put us, the fan, under the bus. And, you know, the reality is that the whole multi-million-dollar corporation that is sports is a symbiotic relationship between the fans and the players. It's not a one-way street because, let's be honest here, if the fans didn't exist, could college football exist at the level with all the benefits that they exist at currently? Heck no. Absolutely not. If the college football players didn't exist, would fans be able to enjoy their hard-earned money on something that they can just mindlessly watch and relax? No, it's a symbiotic relationship. They need each other. But these days, fans are getting the brunt of the finger wagging. And if I had to guess, this person writing this is only doing it, one, to, there's a certain term that I'm thinking of, but I don't want to use the term, let's just call it knighting. Let's just call it knighting. And if I had to guess, he is currying favor for an interview or something down the line. Because it's funny. So you mean to tell us that you are the only one who can tell us, or excuse me, you are the only one who can say Spencer Petras is not the answer. And your publication gets read by, I don't know, 2, 3 people, 5 people. I don't know. Let's be generous and say 100. Okay, let's be generous. I don't know what the Daily Iowans viewership is. Okay, it's less than mine, I'll tell you that. But but they, you mean to tell me that only this guy can tell us Spencer Petras is not the answer? Only the media can tell us or say that Spencer Petras is not the answer. They're the only ones in a position good enough to say that. That's a crock. That's a crock of nonsense. That's basically what he's saying in this article, is that you, the fans, are not high enough on the totem pole to criticize Spencer Petras, but I am. Not me, the writer. All right, let's start reading this article. I was going to show some dude's tweet also, but I don't want to put a bunch of hate his direction. But I've seen it over and over. I've seen a bunch of people commenting saying it's so bad to critique a player, and it's just nonsense. These guys are adults. Listen, am I saying that it is appropriate for you to, demean And do I think that it is the best use of your time to go and attack these players that you will never know on a personal level? No, I don't. Okay, that's not okay. And it's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your time. They won't listen to you. You will never know them personally. But do I think as a fan where you spend your hard-earned money on an amateur sport where they get all kinds of benefits that you should be able to critique? Of course. Of course, you should be able to critique. And all of this is flying in the face of the reality, which is, Spencer, you have been given your chance, but you have not played good. It's not as though you haven't been given a chance. I've defended you thousands of times on this YouTube channel. But you have been given your chance many, many times. And at the end of the day, Iowa fans just want to win as many games as possible. And you haven't. I mean, you've won games, but you've had games like you had against Kentucky. You've had your chance, and you just haven't improved. I mean, that is the big elephant in the room, which is all of this aside. Okay, let's cast this article aside. Let's cast my video aside. At the end of the day, we just want Spencer Petras to be better. And he hasn't. He hasn't been better. He hasn't been better. All right. Let's read this article. And by the way, okay, I don't want to turn this video into a critique of Spencer, because that's not what I'm trying to do in this video. Okay. I've said what I have been trying to say about Spencer, and I think I've said it in a respectful way. This video is more critiquing this dude who wrote this article, finger wagging at us. All right. Quarterback Spencer Petras stood in front. Actually, you know what? I want to show this real quick. By the way, again, I've already said this. This is not a critique against Spencer. This is more a critique against the guy who wrote this article and a bunch of these knights coming to the rescue for no reason, finger wagging towards us, the fans. But I will give my 2 cents on this here. This is by Hawk Central, by the way.
That's a good one. I mean, I guess, you know, I would just say, remember that my mom reads a lot of the things that people say. Kind of, I've grown in my immune system and dealing with that, the things that people say about me. But
listen, I don't want to get too critical here, but again, nobody forces your mom to read the stuff. I mean, seriously, okay? A big reason all of us are on social media is the gratification. I mean, let's not fool one another, okay? But part of extreme gratification is also extreme negativity. That's what you get with it. I'm not saying it's deserved or anything like that, but that just comes with the territory. You don't have to read it. You don't have to even be on social media. Hell, I can make an argument that's even Spencer doesn't need to be on social media. Anyways.
Easy for loved ones or parents, you know, ex-teammates, things like that, to read some of the things people say. And remember that I'm a human being.
That's true. I do think it is important to remember that he is a real guy. And like I said, this is not me saying that it is acceptable to demean or that it's even worth your time to go in on a player super, super hard. But is it okay to be critical? Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, that's literally what the media gets paid, you know, gets all their revenue for, is being critical. But they want to finger wag at us for being critical? Come on.
And it's as are my parents, and it's hard for them a lot of the time. And I get it. It happens all the time with guys across the country, especially a quarterback. But to have my mom have to see some of the stuff that people say is tough. It's definitely tough, and to see her emotions about it. And, I try and tell her that it doesn't matter, but it's easier said than done. So I guess that's what I'd say.
I remember one of my games, because not all the kids in my school, knew who my family was. One of the games, one of these chicks, they heard, they would always hear things. And one of the fans watching the game was like, man, he sucks today. And my grandma was like, that's my grandson, right? Because she's Spanish. That's my grandson, right? So it happens. It is what it is. It happens. Okay. But the difference there is, she just wanted to watch my game. Whereas being on Twitter and stuff like that, you don't need to be on that. Nobody forces you to do that. All right. So we watched that. Let's get back to this and read this article. All right. Quarterback Spencer Petras stood in front of a white brick wall just around the corner from Iowa's locker room at Camping World Stadium about half an hour after the end of the Citrus Bowl, in which he threw 3 interceptions. The harsh Florida sun was shining on his face. Reporters surrounded the redshirt junior as he paused before answering the final question of the day. And the answer was as thoughtful as it was saddening. Dun, dun, dun. Number 15, Iowa had just lost its bowl game 20-17 to the 22nd ranked Kentucky Wildcats. Petras accounted for 211 passing yards and a tub on the day. But what stands out more are the 3 interceptions he threw, including the one on Iowa's final drive with less than a minuto to go that sealed a Kentucky victory. Petras may not be the guy for Iowa at quarterback. There's no question he needs to play better if he wants another shot at being the starter next season. But no matter Petras' performance, he deserves so much better from the Iowa fan base. I mean, are you really going to tell me the Iowa fan base is not, absolutely one of the best fan bases? The Iowa fan base is one of the most forgiving, supportive fan bases in the world. If I guarantee if a lot of people watch this video and think I'm out of line, they'll let me know in defense of the players, because that is how much they love the team. The other thing, they love Iowa. The other thing, in my opinion, there's 2 types of fans, okay? There's the fan who supports the players, the individual players more, and there's the fan that supports the team. I support the team more so than the individual players. And, I think a guy like this tends to support the players a little bit more. And the reality is these players come and go at Iowa. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't show them compassion and empathy and sympathy and things like that. But, I'm just saying that there are 2 types of fans, in my opinion. Player supporters and the team supporters, where one is secondary to the other. All right. I made my way over to hear from Petras near the end of his interview after the game, right as he took a question from the Des Moines Register's Chad Leistokow. The signal caller was asked, now that Iowa's season is over, what is the message to Hawkeye? What would his message to Hawkeye fans would be? That sentence is terrible. The signal caller was asked, now that Iowa's season is over, what his message to Hawkeye fans would be. Maybe I just read it wrong. I guess, Petras said before pausing, and it was unclear if he was getting choked up or trying to carefully articulate an answer. See, again, this is what I'm talking about, okay? We can't be critical, but you can psychoanalyze Spencer Petras getting choked up over a question. I mean, come on. This is just so silly. Just remember that my mom reads a lot of the things people say. All right, we've already read that. I showed you guys the videos. All right, let's go to his response because I already showed you guys the response. There's a difference between criticizing Petras's play and making personal attacks toward him. True. I would agree with that. That's true. I think Iowa would be smart to look in the transfer portal for a new quarterback next. By the way, okay, let me pause here and say this. This is the reason why Iowa struggled to recruit early in the 2021 season, because the Iowa media looks for any drama they can to make an ant hole out of nothing. Or what is it? A mound hole out of an ant hole? Whatever that saying is. Whatever that saying is. I mean, come on. This is insane. But again, this is the type of stuff that leads to, well, schools like Iowa State being able to negatively recruit because they point towards an article like this and say, see, the Iowa fans aren't as good as you think. They treat their players terribly. Come on. All right, let's keep going here. I've also pointed out Iowa's dysfunction on offense a number of times this season. It's tough to keep count. And yes, I called for Alex Padilla to start on multiple occasions. And you aren't what this guy is. I don't care that you called for Alex Padilla to start. That's fine. You can do that. But when you start saying that we are too overly critical, when you literally did the same thing on towards a publication, let me ask you. I mean, this is a serious question. Is it more impactful to say that Spencer Petras is not the answer and Alex Padilla should start on a regional platform such as whatever this newspaper is called, the Daily Iowan, or an individual Twitter handle or Facebook handle? I mean, come on. All right, let's keep going. It's taking too long. I've pretty much made my point. But critiquing Petras' play on the field is fair game. He's a Big Ten quarterback. This is what he signed up for. True. When things get personal, name-calling remarks about someone's family, other vile things that you can find on social media, things go way too far. That's true, okay? I'm not defending that. I'm not. That's not chill. But to be honest, I've never really seen it. I've never really seen any fan say anything that vile. I could be wrong, but I've never seen it. And no, this type of behavior isn't representative of Hawkeye Nation entirely. It just sort of seems like it sometimes. I'm not going to cite specific examples that I've heard in person or seen on Twitter. Again, I've never seen it, but maybe he has. Because there's no need to spread such stupidity. What I can say is that the constant hate Petras gets from the Iowa fan base takes a toll. I spoke with Sarah Petras, Spencer's mom, earlier this season for a story that never quite materialized. But during our hour-long conversation at an Iowa City coffee shop, I got a small glimpse into what Petras and his family deal with. It's very hard not to read it, Sarah Petras said of remarks about her son. I'm so glad I don't do Twitter. Good, you shouldn't. Honestly, there's really no positive benefit for you to be on Twitter because it's just so brutal. People are just so brutal. True, they are. No heart at all. They have no trouble speaking their mind because nobody can see them. True. They're hurtful. I get screwed up by them. I have to remind myself that it is just people voicing some opinion. It's hard. That's true. And you know what? I think that is I think that's the correct way to take it. Is it's just their opinion. It is what it is. An opinion in and of itself means nothing. It does nothing in and of itself by itself. And it's, and I just got to try and move past it. I think that that's the correct response. Petras said he has deleted social media off of his phone to stay away from the hate. Good. That's a good move. I really do think that it is. Petras' mother said he is usually the one who talks her down when she gets fed up with what people say about her son. That maturity isn't surprising if you've been around Petras even a little. It was on brand that Petras was the first Hawkeye football player out of the locker room to complete his post-game interview. He didn't have to be there. He knew he would be facing tough questions. I wouldn't have blamed him for skipping it, but instead, Petras did what he always does, thoughtfully answered every question with respect and great humility. But I guess that isn't difficult for someone as genuinely respectful and intriguing to hear from as Petras is. Man, this guy is buttering up Petras if I've ever seen that myself. Jeez. Dude, it's just a conversation. No big deal. Iowa safety Kayvon Merriweather recently was awarded the Duke Slater Golden Gavel Award. That's awesome. Which is given to the Hawkeye football player who not only is the most cooperative with local media, but exhibits themselves with professional integrity in all interactions. I don't know if I want to read this whole thing. Critiquing Petras is one thing, but demeaning is another. If you fall into the second category, you've got more to worry about than the performance of a college football player. A lot more. It feels like I'm rambling. It's because Petras doesn't deserve the constant attacks that he faces on a seemingly endless basis. Dude. I don't want to be a stickler here, but again, I have been doing this for a couple of years now, okay? And I've never seen anybody attack any player on a personal level. The only thing I've seen them say is he's not good. He shouldn't be the starting quarterback. That's the worst I've seen. And unless you have receipts, then what am I supposed to do? Take your word for it? Anyways, maybe it's because he's roughly the same age as I am. I can't imagine being under that much scrutiny. I doubt you could. Honestly, I really doubt you would be able to. If you're writing an article like this, I doubt it. You don't think Petras wants to play well? Of course he does. Certainly more than the hypothetical drunk middle-aged guy yelling at him from row 16. See, this is what I'm talking about. Is some young reporter like this, who's my age, okay, finger wagging righteously at Iowa fans, putting together an archetype of some fat, obese, drunkard male fan. I mean, that's just not fair. You're saying that it's not fair to go after Spencer, but I could say the same thing going towards the fan. It's not fair to call the average drunken, obese slob of a fan. That's not fair either. It's not. And plus, again, those guys are this isn't in order to excuse anything, but it's a fact that they are the reason you can do the job that you do now. And my point is that the respect for fans, the criticism that fans get, especially by the Iowa media, I mean, it's every year. Every year we get some article from one of the Iowa media writers finger wagging, saying how terrible Iowa fans are. So that's the end of the article. Listen, my stance is very simple. It's been the same, which is currently Alex Padilla and Spencer Petras are average quarterbacks at best. Spencer Petras has won a lot of games. I have defended him many times, many, many times. I have defended him. And those of you who watch this know I have. You know I have. I've defended him at expense of myself. Because if I'm wrong, then it increases the likelihood of someone saying, I'm not going to listen to that guy. He was wrong about the quarterback position. So, but overall, okay, I have never seen some demeaning attack on a player in my whole time doing this. I've never seen it. And if it did happen, Iowa fans would be all over it, saying that that's not okay. You can't do that. So I think that this is a disingenuous article. I think this is a self-righteous article. I think this dude needs to get off the cloud that he is living on right now. He's obviously buttering up Spencer, which is kind of lame, but I'm not going to go too hard on that. And overall, I keep saying this to Iowa fans. The Iowa media doesn't like you. Okay. They don't support you. They're not true Iowa fans like you and I are. And it just is what it is. It just is what it is. I guess what I'm saying is be more critical of where you put your, where you spend your money, who you decide to give a subscription to, who you decide to share their content. Are you going to give it to the folks that don't respect you? No, if you want to and you don't care, that's fine. More power to you. But I would never come on here and finger wag at you. Who am I to do that to you? So, all right, guys, we will wrap this up. I thought that this was interesting. I thought this would be an interesting piece of content. And I do think that this is going to be a pretty popular video, honestly. I really do think it's going to. I am curious what you guys think about this. I do think I'm expecting some people to be critical of me. I'm expecting some people to not hear a dang word that I said. And I've said it multiple times that demeaning is not okay. It's not worth your time. But being critical is okay. But I almost guarantee there's going to be some people who roll right past that with a Ferrari and say, but Nolan, it's not, you can't do that or whatever. And I'm going to point back and say, dude, I said it 6-7 times. It's not okay. Okay. So we'll see what happens. I'm interested to see what you guys think. I'm tired of the Iowa media finger wagging at me. I'm tired of the media in general. I won't be able to work. I won't be able to work for the Daily Iowan anytime soon, even though if they partnered with me, I guarantee I would increase their viewership immediately. Anyways, all right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button at the very least, like, comment, and share, because subscribing makes you feel good. And like, comment, I already said that. Thank you guys so much for watching. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy alone. Facts or feelings don't matter. Love y'all. Go Hawks. Bye.